Choose life, choose a sport, choose a drop zone, choose a start time, choose a fucking big jump plane, choose turbine engines, speed, unlimited altitude, and endless horizons. Choose height, no low turns, and travel insurance. Choose jump tickets, choose tiny action cameras, choose your mates, choose a rig and matching helmet, choose swoop shorts and a range of fucking fabrics, choose 120 vertical speed and wondering who the fuck you are on a Sunday morning. Choose sitting on that couch, watching debriefs, spirit-saving slow-mos, smashing beers after last load. Choose standing on the podium at the end of it all. Choose a win you'll love every time. And the reasons? There are no reasons. Who needs reasons when you fly NZ Aerosports?
Of course, I absolutely love the NZ Aerosports business model. I mean, come on. One glance at an Icarus fuck yeah sticker and you know it lines up perfectly with the fucking pilot mentality. But outside their wonderful use of colorful language and a great company vibe, there's a long list of reasons to say NZ Aerosports, fuck yeah. NZ Aerosports blows me away right out of the gate as a canopy manufacturer with a bold offer. They give you 10 jumps on your brand new nylon to decide if you want to keep it, swap it out, or even return it for a refund. I mean, seriously, how incredible is that? That's like getting halfway through a prom and deciding you prefer the slightly racier date that goes down faster. Seriously, they do that. If you're not madly in love with your new canopy after 10 jumps, they'll let you swap it out for another size or model or even get your money back. And the range of canopies they've got? Man, they've got a style canopy to fit every jumper and every situation with models you know and trust, like the Sapphire 3, the perfect choice for the beginner or intermediate canopy pilot. The Crossfire 3, when you're ready to kick it up that elliptical notch. The JFX 2, if you're looking to up your new swoop game. The Leia as the workhorse and dirtwater dirt beast, or the Petra. The Petra cranks out crazy power and is nothing short of a record breaker. But hey, it's not always about speed either. Take the Kraken. Built as a low pack volume canopy specifically with wingsuiting in mind, she gives you all the performance you're looking for with the reliability you need that'll have you itching for that next formation, rodeo, or puffy cloud. So the equipment is top of the line kick-ass stuff as you already know, but how about the team? Well, the customer service gang is there to sort you out whenever you need them. Maddie and Beto are always there to help with Jen holding the reins. They're available for you at sales@nzaerosports.com, and they've got a kick-ass live chat tool on the website if you're wanting to hit someone up right away. These are the crew you're going to want to talk to get those custom orders in. With the stock nylon, once you know what you want, they'll have that shit on a FedEx truck as soon as the credit card machine says approved and get you in the air in no time. For your custom orders, you'll be able to get a time frame for building and shipping when you design it, so get to it. And demos. They've got demos in the US available from their partner Rock Sky Market. The whole US demo fleet is there with Sapphire 3, Crossfire 3, Kraken, JFX2, and Leia canopies in a range of sizes. They also offer student and tandem demos in the US. Bottom line, every step of the way, NZ Aerosports is there to get you what you need, and I personally couldn't be happier to be teamed up with them here on Lunatic Fringe. And now, time to get started with Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you proudly by NZ Aerosports. Fuck yeah.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! All right, back in the can for another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, and this one is going to be interesting. I don't think anybody quite knows where the fuck this one's going to go, so let's just get started. Who the fuck are you, and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Kim Turnbull, and I'm just a mom of two crazy kids.
You're just a mom. You're just some lady named Kim that's a mom. Yeah, no reason to be on it.
Most people wouldn't even know me as Kim Turnbull.
No, how would they know you?
Go around Worthington, amongst other nicknames, but yeah.
Wait a second, we're not even moving forward from that. Go around Worthington?
Well, that was my nickname at CrossKeys. You don't remember?
I don't. Explain it.
So, because I had a 100% safety record at CrossKeys for students landing on the field, but John Eddowes hated me because I always made the plane go around. So all the pilots knew that when I was on the plane, we were probably going to do a go around. So my nickname amongst the pilots and John Eddowes and all the manifest staff was Go Around Worthington.
Go Around Worthington. I like that. I don't know. Well, I was always just Chuck and Drogue, so I was always out of the plane and busting my ass when you were busy going around, I guess. So before we get way ahead of ourselves, a lot of people, at least the people that know you, have just freaked out that you're doing a podcast about skydiving. Like there's probably a few people that are like, oh, fuck. So, but we're going to jump way back to how you got started in skydiving in the first place, because you're from the UK. So how did it all begin?
Oh, so my uncle was a skydiver in the UK years and years back with the old school guys now, Kevin McCarthy, Derek Thomas. He used to be on a team called Mind Games back in the day. Okay. Leslie Gale, those guys would have known who he was. Anyway, so yeah, he's my mum's brother. And since I was 10, 11, 12, I just always wanted to try it. And then when I was 17, I signed up to do a tandem at my local skydiving centre. I did it for charity, for like a cancer charity, raised a bunch of money. Went on a weather hold for about 3 months before I finally got to jump. Went to the airfield so many times. It was always miserable. So I did my first jump with the British Army and Royal Marines at Honiton in Devon.
Okay.
And I did a tandem from 10,000 feet, and I was on the static line course the next morning.
So you knew right away.
I off work and just did the static line course, yeah.
You knew straight
up. And that was me every weekend. Spent all my money on skydiving and alcohol, and it was instant.
You went from 0 to full speed.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is, hey?
Doesn't surprise me.
For people like me, that was always all or nothing, yeah. So, but it was good. I ended up dating that tandem instructor about a year later. All right, well. For a long time.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, now, so starting out in the UK, though, is kind of a shit place to begin with the weather, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The weather is absolutely atrocious. And like I said, it was about 3 months from signing up until I actually made the skydive. And that was many, many trips to the skydiving centre and hanging around, being blown out, rained out. And yeah, it just never happened. So when we finally... And we'd get the call, and we were about a 45-minute drive away, and it was like, oh, yeah, we might find a window at 5 o'clock. Okay. So we'd drive all the way up there, and they'd be like, oh, nah, it's too windy now, or it's raining, and it was always miserable. So, but, yeah, it's very hard in the UK to be a skydiver and stick with it because there's so much downtime. But the people at the drop zones, it's the time down that you're getting to know everyone and you're part of the family, and that's the whole welcoming spirit of skydiving, and everyone's welcome. And, I learned at a military base with the Royal Marines, and geez, those guys are, it was their job, but we were civilians, but it was a weird kind of mixture. But well, yeah, it's very interesting.
It sounds like so. Well, especially if you ended up dating your first tandem instructor a year later, so you obviously put the time in the drop zone. Every weekend I was there. I used to always call in sick from work, and I'd go up on the Thursday. They had bunk rooms up there, so everyone would just go stay in the bunk room on the airfield, and then you jump all day, Saturday, Sunday. And when I say all day, it was probably 1 or 2 jumps because it's so expensive. It was very expensive to learn to skydive in the UK. You got your gear rental, everything. It was, and you always had to buy beer. Any excuse in the UK, they would make you buy, the Royal Marines would make you buy beer. Of course. but it was, you know, they took liberties.
Wait a sec. So you're how old at this point?
I think I started at 18, 17 or 18.
17 or 18-year-old Kim Worthington.
Yeah.
Buying beer and driving to a military base to spend the weekends.
I never drove. I didn't have a driver's license. I relied on people to ferry me to and from the drop zone, and there wasn't that many people from my hometown that were skydivers, so I did introduce a few people to try it just so that I could get a ride there. And yes, the train only went to the nearest town, but then the drop zone was another 15 miles from the train station. So it was, if you haven't got a driver's license, it's a real pain in the bum to get to, basically. Sure. So yeah. So one of the guys I could get a lift with, he's actually inside now for murder.
Well, there you go. Nice little side note to that.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah,
well, now,
that was a big thing.
How do you transition from shit weather and having to bum rides to becoming a professional skydiver? I mean, how the fuck?
I didn't have any intentions in becoming a professional skydiver. I just really liked the parties. So I'll never forget my first trip away was Empuriabrava Brava in Spain. That was it for me. Yeah. I mean, I think I did 2 weeks the first trip with a big group from the drop zone, my local home drop zone, and I think I had about 50 jumps at the time. I mean, I was low jump numbers, and I knew nothing, and I couldn't even fly a canopy. It was awful, and I was a terrible skydiver, terrible student, and but yeah, we had such a good time, and being a female, you get quite a lot of attention, so that was always quite good. You know. So, yeah, we had a great time. And then I just wanted to do that all the time, you know. When you're in your early 20s and you're in a different country, you got no olds telling you what to do.
Sure.
It was it was great.
So is Empuriabrava Brava, is that where you really started to work at getting into the sport? Well,
look, I could never pack parachutes. So I needed to make money and in order to jump and, attain that lifestyle. So, I did have to jump more, and I thought, well, packing never appealed to me.
Sure.
So when I left Spain, my next trip was to DeLand.
Okay.
And Bob Hallett there offered me a job to do manifest. I think he was just joking, but and then I literally went home 2 days later. I flew back to DeLand and I was like, well, I'm here. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I did say you could have a job. So yeah, I did manifest and worked in the office for, like 2 or 3 years there.
Oh, wow. I had no idea that you did manifest.
Yeah, really annoyed people on the microphone.
Yeah, you would have been a psychotic manifester.
Yeah, people got really annoyed with my voice because I had like all my little quirky sayings, like, because it wasn't just manifest, it was the office as well, and dishing out the gear and all that good stuff. And yeah, it was the girls that worked in there, we were all just having a laugh. It was good times. I mean,
sure. Oh, yeah. I can imagine, but oh my God, you must have been a terror with a little bit of power.
Oh man, I loved it.
I'm sure you did. Oh my God.
Good. I did enjoy it, but and then at a certain point I'd actually lived in DeLand for a while, and when I first got there I was super motivated. So I was doing coaching with Gary Smith, and I did some with Solly Williams and Joey Jones. I did a fill-in on a 4-way team for him, and I was really motivated. And then after a while, I remember looking back and thinking I hadn't jumped in about 8 months. And I just became a person that was working but hadn't jumped for so long, and then I had to make a decision, and then I just was like, right, I'm going to jump, and then did my coach rating, and then once I got that, it was like AFF followed, and
sure.
Rob Laidlaw was a big help for me at DeLand, because he kind of took me under his wing and said, you can do this, and you've got all the people at DeLand to help you. You've got the best people there to, you know,
guide you
and tell you your crap and say, well, you know, you got to go to the tunnel, you got to do something, and you can't be teaching because you can't do it yourself.
Right.
I'll never forget Scott Miller from PD saying, I can't believe you're teaching people how to skydive and you can't even pack a parachute, which was true. I'd hidden it really well for many years, but I just had no inclination to pack parachutes.
Right.
So then I did finally learn after I got my AFF rating.
That is psychotic. How the fuck do you get all the way to an AFF instructor and you can't pack a parachute?
Yeah, I just hid it really well. Hey,
you were in a bikini top most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I could do the first part. I could never. Once I got to the getting it in the bag part, I was like, oh, I'm over this. And then I'd always say, oh, can you just finish that for me?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Someone always would.
Yeah, of course.
But Scott Miller pulled me up on it. He was like, he did all the test jumps for PD, Performance Designs, and he used to just pull me up on it. He's like, Kim, you've got an AFF rating and you can't even pack a parachute. Come on now. And I was like, yeah, I suppose you're right. It's time to get serious. So
yeah. Well,
it did.
That kind of explains, though, why you never got your tandem rating, too. If you didn't even want to
the tandem rating was the reason I quit skydiving, because I did my shoulder in.
Yeah.
And the tandem rating.
Well, I just figured you wouldn't want to get your. I just figured you wouldn't want to get your tandem rating because if you're too lazy to put a parachute in the bag, you're sure as shit not going to want to do a tandem.
Yeah, true. It wasn't laziness. Like when we did the tandem rating, Sarah did all the pack jobs, eh?
Of course. Of course.
But, you know, I did 5 or 6 tandems.
Yeah.
And I hated every single one of them, apart from the one where I had Sarah on the front of me.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy them. And I think a lot of it was to do with I didn't like the gear I was wearing. Sure. I was always a vector girl, you know, and having to do a rating with a strong parachute, I didn't like them. They look ugly and I just didn't like them.
The strong rigs were an acquired taste for sure.
Yeah. So, and yeah, my first jump with Sarah, Jonathan's got it on video, but we were up there for ages. It was so windy and we were both under canopy. So we decided we were just going to spiral down, and the canopy just kept collapsing and we just would drop out of the sky. And we're like, oh my God, what's going on? And Sarah would scream. She's on the front having a little scream. And I'm going, it's all right, but I was actually shitting myself too. But I didn't like that, but I was like, okay, I'll do a few more, but I just couldn't flare them. Hey, I just didn't have that strength. And then I did my shoulder in, and
sure,
you know, the shoulder was maybe a little bit of an excuse because I could have maybe finished it a little bit further down the track. I only had 3 jumps left to do, and I was good at it. I mean, it wasn't like I couldn't do it.
Sure.
You know, I was better than some people that were doing it for years.
During that time, that was when we were all in the gym training, because Sarah wanted to.
Yeah, you were trained in the gym.
Yeah, well, because Sarah wanted to build up her strength, and so did you, and so we all hit the gym to train. Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days.
So, how did you end up in CrossKeys?
Oh, so I'd done a stint at Empuria Brava again. I'd gone back in after I got my AFF rating. I left DeLand and I went to Empuria Brava because Kevin McCarthy, who was a friend of my uncle, always said to me, once you get your AFF rating, come and work for me and I'll, you know, teach you, you know, you under his guidance. And it was the best thing I could have done because I wouldn't have got those jump numbers in anywhere else. So I left there and I did a season in Empuria Brava, and I can't remember how many jumps I did, but I did enough to know that I needed to do more and practice and practice.
Sure.
So I had the choice. When I went back to DeLand, I had the choice of either running the Skydive University coaching and having my own office down at CrossKeys, or going back to Emporia Brava, and they wanted to open up the gear shop there, which it was under kind of PD Relative Workshop at the time, EPT now, and I was going to go and work in there. Anyway, I chose CrossKeys because I was at a point in my life where I wanted to actually jump.
Sure.
And I'd heard CrossKeys was a factory for the jump numbers.
Sure.
And I was interested in making some money, and just I needed a break from DeLand. I'd been there for a while, and I needed to kind of you know, make my own name, because at DeLand I was always known as standby. I was never given a job there. It was always, you can do AFF, but you're on standby. There's so many staff there year round, and it was always, if someone's sick, but 10 people had to be sick in order for me to get a AFF jump in, you know? So it wasn't, so I went to CrossKeys, and
Well, I think it sounds a little bit like your decision to go to CrossKeys was mine. I knew nothing about CrossKeys when I went, and I took the job because it was the busy place, and it was the responsible choice because it was a busy, good money-making job. It was never
a responsible choice. I mean, the choice was responsible because I was being given my own coaching school, handed on a plate. Kim, here's the Skydive U coaching school, go run it.
Right.
You'll be doing all the coaching, you'll be doing all the events. And I was like, sweet. From the December to the April before I left, in those 4 months, I met a bunch of people from CrossKeys, and I'd see them all down at Sebastian. And then I was like, oh my gosh, CrossKeys is going to be nuts. And everyone was like going, are you going to CrossKeys? I was like, yeah. And they're like going, oh, it's so crazy there. You'll love it. The Monkey Claw crew. I met, and then I met John Eddowes about a year before. He came to DeLand on a tour in a bus with all the crew from CrossKeys. It was like the Monkey Claw guys. Jury, that's where I first met Jury. She was on that trip back when she jumped, and a few other people. And they came, they blew into DeLand, caused mayhem, and then blew out again in a bus the next morning. And it was like, and they stole the totem pole from DeLand. There's this big wooden totem pole. It's beautiful. And the CrossKeys crew stole it and took it back to DeLand. Back to
CrossKeys.
Typical John Eddowes move, you know?
Yeah. Well, so you knew going into it before you got to CrossKeys that it was going to be off the hook.
Well, yes. I did. I knew it was going to be a change, and I had met some people, and I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. But I still thought it was going to be, you know, professional day job and parties on the weekend. I didn't realize it was going to be quite as crazy as it was straight away. It was so full on, and it was like CrossKeys is like nothing I've ever experienced before, unless you've experienced CrossKeys in its heyday. You can't relate, because the stories just,
they're too over the top.
Can't believe it. The stories are you just think, is she how can that even be true?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Did that really happen? And the thing is, it's not exaggerated. You tend to tone things down when talking about CrossKeys, because otherwise the place would have been shut down yonks ago.
Oh, yeah.
The place was nuts.
It was nuts. My first indication
in my life.
My first indication that I may have made a miscalculation when I went to CrossKeys was the first fucking morning, and you'll remember this. At least you better remember this, because I had set up my trailer in the parking lot because I got there late one night. Set up the trailer in the parking lot.
What was his name? What was that guy you're with?
The little Yoda-looking guy. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he and I drove out together and set up that thing in the middle of the parking lot because we had no idea where else to park. And I walked into the hangar the next morning. I didn't get one fucking foot into the hangar, and I hear this voice from across the hangar scream, "Oi, are you that stripper named Princess from Vegas?" It was fucking you right there, instantly, right off the bat. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Welcome to CrossKeys.
Exactly. It was instantly like, "Are you that stripper from Vegas?" And it was you. You're the first person that I actually talked to.
But do you know what? John Eddowes, like, as much as you either love him or hate him,
Right.
I always got on really well with John. We
Sure.
had our moments, but I always got on really well with him, and I really liked the guy. He would pull a couple of people aside for about a week before and be like, right, there's this person coming, this is the briefing, this is who they are, this is their background, make them feel welcome, show that, and he would feed it.
Right.
Because he wanted people to love CrossKeys. I mean, it got a name for itself, and he was the guy that made that happen and gave it that reputation. He did feed it.
Sure.
So you'll know what I mean, because he used to feed Will and Selwyn to do certain things to make things happen.
Sure.
But they might not have had the idea themselves.
Right.
So he would do that. And he did the same with Richard Wilkinson. Before Richard came, I spoke to Richard on the phone. He was in Australia, and I'm in the office, and John Eddowes is like, "Hey, Kim, this is Guy, speak to him, speak to him dirty," and all this stuff. So when you arrived, I knew you were a stripper. He had told me all this stuff. So it was like, hey, welcome to CrossKeys. You must be the stripper.
It was fucking hilarious. I mean, I literally only made one foot in the door. And I think it was that very first weekend, because the place that he gave me to park the trailer was about, 30 meters from the tiki bar.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least you got a trailer. When I first arrived, he promised me a trailer, and I think I got shown down to Toast's trailer down by the fuel pumps. Oh. And when I realized that actually I didn't have any accommodation at CrossKeys, this was after a couple of days of sleeping on the floor at the ketchup house, I decided to just go and get an apartment.
Sure.
So, yeah, he did make some promises that never...
Right. Well, so that was one of the weird things.
But you were there. He had got you there. And once you were there, it was fight or flight mode.
Yep.
You know?
Well, yeah, it was the same thing. I got there, and there were a few extra rules and some strange things that they had. Like with the pay, you had to have an LLC.
There was no rules at CrossKeys.
Yeah, for stuff like that. To get paid, you had like the LLC. Remember? You had to have your own company.
Yeah, you had to do that. That wasn't just CrossKeys. That was the whole state of New Jersey.
Oh, you want to know how I got around that? I just asked the bank to put my business name on my personal checks. I never had an LLC.
Yeah, mine's still live. I just haven't used it. But they changed it, didn't they, halfway through? And the laws changed, so you didn't need it anymore. But yeah, that was a bit of a pain in the bum. You had to have all the insurance, and that was a little different. But yes, as far as anything else was concerned, there were no fucking rules. I've never seen so much insanity in my life. Ever. I know, and it is an eye opener. And at first, it was funny, but it did get to a point where I would think to myself, okay, this isn't actually funny. This is actually scary and a little bit kind of, I didn't like. Well, you know where it turned for me was Kusky. Oh, Kusky, I mean, for me, he was a bit try-hard. When Selwyn or Will did something, it was funny because, I mean, you just look at Selwyn and he's got one of those faces. He just makes you laugh. He's an awesome dude. You just want to care for him. And I remember when I first met him, the guy, he had no shoes. Unless I was feeding him every day, and boy, that he could eat, and he wasn't eating, hey. So I just felt like I needed to mother him, you know. And then Will, I always really liked Will. But he used to piss me off. Sure. But when those two did stuff, they just did it naturally, or because Eddowes told them. But Kusky,
was try hard.
Sure.
He was trying to get to be those two,
Sure.
to be in there with that crew, and it was obvious to me, and I just found everything that he did, try hard. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I just didn't like the guy that much. He was just hanging around. He didn't jump much. He was just, I don't know. I just found him,
Well, but with me saying
honestly, Kill of the Dead, but I just found him. I mean, you know how I found him. I just really thought, dude, get your fucking shit together.
For sure.
I mean,
for sure.
what you like that? You're a grown man, and you're just acting like a pleb. Come on, man.
For sure. Yeah. Although telling someone to grow up in CrossKeys in 2004, that was pretty difficult.
He didn't contribute much, did he? The only thing he contributed to was,
well,
he not even to the party, because he just gets so messy that it was a joke. I don't know.
He did make for a couple of epic stories, though. I mean, where were you for the peanut butter?
Yeah, and the chili, the pepper.
I don't remember the pepper. I remember the peanut butter and Marley.
Oh well, everyone remembers that. But yeah, there was the habanero, which I think Cruzy's got on video somewhere, and that was a set up by Cruzy. It was another thing. We're on a weather hold. What can we do? Oh, Kusky will do something because he likes to be the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Let's get a pepper, the hottest one in the world, and let Kusky eat it.
Right.
You know, so
he did some silly shit. There's no doubt. Well, and come on, he went out with a bang.
Well, yeah, we all saw that coming. Do you know, me and Heath Richardson were supposed to be on that load. So I was doing free fly coach dumps that day with Heath, and him and Fricker pinched our spots on the aircraft. So me and Heath were just sitting there, and they would not get off the plane. And I was just like, guys, you've just jumped. This is our spots. You're on the next load. You're not even on this one. And it was like trying to talk to a freaking brick wall. So me and Heath were just like, you know what, let them have it. Who gives a, crap?
Right.
I didn't want to argue with them because they were, let's be honest, they were both drunk that day.
Yeah.
And we all knew they were, but at the time, CrossKeys had these little strips that you stuck on your head. And
yeah,
I mean, who was policing that?
Nobody.
I mean, they were so drunk, it was just not even funny. And I don't even know what they were doing the night before. But at the end of the day, you can't argue with people that are in that state. So we just got off the load and we sat outside the Monkey Claw office, the Skydive View office, on those benches with you.
Yeah.
Chatting.
Yeah, because that was.
And next thing you know, we heard a bang, and it was Heath. Heath turned around and he said, "Did someone just go in?" And we just went, "Yeah, Kusky just went in."
Yeah.
And you went and you ran. I didn't even bother running. I remember Heath got on a bicycle. I just sat there because I was like, "What's the point?"
Yeah, I drove my truck over there. I saw Frick.
Yeah.
Still.
I know. At the Ketchup House, landed there.
Yeah. After the Cypress fire, and then
sitting there with his hands in his head, like, what's just happened? Like, he couldn't believe it. Well.
Yep.
I mean, we actually watched it from the table. Like, me, you, and Heath was sat there on that table, and I remember looking up, and Kusky was on his back.
Yep.
And Fricker was on his belly.
Yep.
And they were just being goofs. And I actually remember Frick Cypress fired, and I actually remember Kusky rolling over at about treetop height.
Yep.
And I almost could see his face like, holy shit, I fucked up.
Yep. Yep.
And he's dead.
Yep. That's exactly what I saw. It didn't register with me. My brain just kind of didn't. What I saw and what I heard didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. We heard the bang, and we just all looked at each other, and then Heath was like,
"Yep.
Did Kusky just go in?"
Yep.
Yeah. Kusky just went in.
Well, and I was standing next to Damo, and I actually turned to Damo, and I couldn't say anything other. Yeah, and I'm like, "What was that sound?" And Damo just said Kusky. And I'm,
Damo came in through the hangar and he was just like, Kusky, and we were just like, yeah, Kusky just went in. And you guys went. I just sat there because I was like, well, I don't want to see a dead body.
Yeah.
But you went and tried to do mouth to mouth. And you came back and you were just like, his insides just were like sponge, and you pushed down on his chest and it just was mush.
Yep, it was a miscalculation on my part.
I mean, there's no way he could have survived that.
Well, the only reason that I did chest compressions is because Toast came over and begged me, please, 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 can we please do this? And I did one chest compression, felt the concrete behind him and went, no, that's it, we're done, and walked away. Because someone came over to me after that, and I'm like, I should have gone.
It was in someone's front yard. I mean, they had kids, basketball hoop there, and it was
like... he nicked the basketball hoop.
Oh, mate, I just remember thinking, like, that poor family.
Sure.
They probably didn't sign up for this when they moved into Dahlia Ave, you know?
Right. Well, so that's the weird thing, right? Is because that drop zone is right in the middle of a residential area, right in the middle of a very residential little town. And we would take our crazy shit into Williamstown all the time. Those poor people that lived in that neighborhood.
Well, John did buy most of the houses in that street.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were definitely some regular folk that still lived down that street.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? I mean, just being a regular person, having to deal with that street. Oh my gosh.
And us in general, though, we got so used to the way that drop zone was that we stopped differentiating between when we were at the drop zone or even in Williamstown and when we were out and about. And I'm going to see if you remember this. We went to dinner in a Mexican restaurant in Manhattan. You remember this? So it was...
carry on.
Yeah, so it was a relatively wealthy student that was coming out and learning how to jump.
Hector, with the model.
Yeah, Hector took us he got us past the whole line and took us in to have this. And it was you and the whole crew and Jackson and me and my mom was there. And at the end of the meal, you push yourself back from the table. And do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
Come on.
My kids might listen to this. I don't say that now. I barely swear anymore.
If you don't say it, I'm going to say it.
You can say it. I'm not going to say it. Oh, that got me into trouble when I lived in Spain. The drop zone owner didn't speak to me for about 2 months after I said that after a meal. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Oh, so did I.
Pete Jones, he didn't talk to me.
I was dying because you're sitting next to my mom. Yeah, you're sitting next to my mom. You kind of push yourself back from the table a little bit, make a big deal of rubbing your belly and go, oh, I'm as full as a slut's cunt. My mom stopped chewing. My mom stopped chewing. She just couldn't even cope with, and we're in the middle of a very fancy restaurant in fucking Manhattan, like just off 65th Avenue.
Yeah, so classy. But you know what? When you're English, in America, you can get away with stuff like that because you know your accent's still cute.
Yeah.
that's always got me by in America.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I remember milking it for a few people. Often when we were almost getting arrested, I'd have to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm ever so sorry, officer." Oh, really? Oh, okay. And you just put on the accent a little bit more, and it always worked.
Well, it worked for all you guys. It worked for you.
I don't say things like that anymore, Princess.
Fair enough.
I have children. I'm middle aged. I go to school meetings, and
I so can't picture that shit.
People here knew about my colourful past. Yeah. Whew.
You'd almost be better off just lying and saying you used to be a porn star.
Oh my gosh, probably. Probably.
Well, but the whole crew, it was for those few seasons in CrossKeys with the people that were out there. You had you and people like Rob Stanley and Mark Norman and all these amazing characters that just fed off of each other. And then there was us, the Americans that would just kind of tag along because no American chick wanted to talk to me if I was out with that fucking.
Oh my God. princess, you never just tagged along. You never just tagged along. Don't say it like you were watching from behind the wall. You were in it as quickly as everyone else, and you were a part of it just like everyone else, and you were princess.
Oh yeah.
And you had your moments.
I did.
And I mean, we've had some serious conversations and times.
Yes, we have.
Haven't we? So, you know, don't act like you're just observing from
an
auditorium somewhere, because you were a player.
Oh, I definitely was a part of the mayhem. There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
Although
I feel like with us, we were, nothing we ever did would cause too much malice, or it was always kind of fun.
Sure.
It never was crazy, and that's how I feel like CrossKeys went a bit too far when they started destroying things and setting fire to things, and I didn't like that, because the other stuff is funny, you know, wrapping tinfoil around your body and going out in a lightning storm on the airfield. Now that stuff's funny, you know, and eating a habanero pepper, that is funny. But when you start setting cars on fire and couches, and let's not forget when that year, when we got a new manager, it was actually scary. For me, I found it quite scary, because I come from, you know, the UK. We don't have guns in the UK. I've never even seen a gun. And then I walk into the top house, and this guy's bought an arsenal of weapons, and they shot up the whole top house, and no one was safe. And I remember being genuinely fearful, because these people, Fricka and Ref, would get super drunk. I mean, those two bonded like they were brothers from another mother. And when they got drunk, those weapons came out. And for me, that was scary. So I tried not to be around when that was going on, because I didn't like that. I didn't find that funny. I just found that scary. And that season for me, that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth for that season.
Our version of crazy was stuff like the night we shot the Sarge video. Like, you remember that, right? Everybody just got hammered drunk, and Sarge, how did it go? Was it Sarge challenged Jackson to a drinking contest, and Jacko kept pouring Sarge vodka and himself water?
Because Jackson was British Marines, and I believe Sarge was US Army. Either or. They were, you know, they both were showing their manhood. And look, we all know at the end of the day, Jacko was going to win whatever was coming, whether he had to cheat or do it, you know, whatever. He was always going to win, you know, and they did. But Sarge was funny. I mean, that guy, he took some crap at CrossKeys, but boy, he kept coming back over and over, and he loved it. I remember I took him on a coach jump, and Heath Richardson was flying the Cessna, and it filled with smoke, and we had to do an emergency exit, right? And I'm like, okay, we've got black smoke in the cockpit, we're going to do an emergency exit. And he's like, yes, ma'am. You know, just kind of like, and he was just intently listening on instruction. You couldn't ask for a better person to do an emergency exit. He did everything I told him. And that guy now, he is a really good skydiver, tandem instructor in his own right, and one of the main dudes at his drop zone. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, to think little Sarge, who, you know.
I remember my respect for him jumped through the roof, not that particular night that we destroyed him, but when we showed the video.
What he said, I'm a mite concerned.
I'm a mite bit concerned that he saw blood when he threw up.
They're like, that's not blood. It's like a strawberry or a blueberry or something. I couldn't remember what it was.
No, I told him it was the red sauce from spaghetti that we'd eaten earlier. Well, my respect jumped through the roof for him, because we showed that video. Nobody knew that there was that video until the film festival months later.
That's right.
And he was sitting in the hangar and he sat there and fucking laughed with everybody else. And this is a guy who at one point in the video ends up dropping his pants and is getting whipped by you on the video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he could take it though. He loved it. He was getting the attention. He loved it.
Well, and
I
didn't feel bad about fucking with him on that, because then the film that you and me and everybody made that won the film festival was just me walking around in drag in fucking Williamstown. And remember that shit? The Princess Diaries, we called it.
Oh, the Princess Diaries. That's right. Oh my gosh. Like, I've forgotten some of this stuff.
That's the one where at the end of the video, Simeon ended up in his underwear wrapped around a telephone pole, imitating some of the stupid shit that he...
end up in his underwear. I mean, come on. That guy's... Like, I don't understand that mentality. It's like, what's wrong with you? But going back to keeping it a secret, I don't know whether you remember this, but I tell my husband about this all the time. I did the best prank ever, and I did it at CrossKeys, and it's all because I kept it going for so long. It was with Patrick Piano.
Yeah.
I remember he lived with me and Jackson for a while.
Yeah.
Up at the old apartment, the Haitian sensation.
Yeah. I remember.
So he came home one day and he said to me, he's like, is Cruzy's child a boy or a girl? Because, you know, it's called Matt. Like, he genuinely didn't know. He was new, and this is when she had like a little kind of shorter haircut.
Sure.
And so I told him, I was like, look, Patch, you can't say anything. It's a bit of a touchy subject. Everyone in CrossKeys knows. I was like, but Cruzy and his wife, Lisa, they really wanted a little girl. And no, they really wanted a little girl, but they had a little boy called Max, and that's why they dress him in girls' clothes. I kept this going for about a year, and he would come home, and now her hair was a little bit longer, and he goes, I can't believe they've let him grow his hair that long now. Like, it's child abuse. You know, someone should say something. And, you know, he actually said something to a couple of other people at CrossKeys, and no one ever twigged what was going on. And I'd just always be in the background, just laughing my head off, like, inside. I kept that joke going for over a year until I told him the truth. And it's, to this day, my favourite ever prank that I've played. He judged Cruzy so hard on it. It was the best.
I'll bet. Well, and I mean, come on.
Any prank on Cruzy, come on.
So,
because the guy couldn't make a joke.
He could dish them out, though. Oh my God.
But when he got them back, he didn't like it. Cruzy's a funny one because I liked Cruzy when he was just being Cruzy.
Right.
But when he was always being a suck up, it's like, mate, you're doing yourself no favours. Stop being a suck up. Just be yourself, man. Stop trying to cause trouble for everyone. Just get on with your job and let everyone be happy.
Right.
Why are you trying to cause problems for everyone?
Right. I mean, everybody had their own different ways of stirring shit.
But then you'd go out and get drunk with him, and he's like, you'd have a great time with him. He's like, oh, Cruzy's a great guy. Oh, no, he's been a dick again.
Sure.
You know.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, you know where my respect went through the roof for him on one particular occasion, and you'll remember this as well. It was the day we all went for Sarah's memorial.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, say what you will about good and bad times, but he shined a much more positive light on skydivers in a church full of people that fucking hated every one of us because their shining light had just died on a skydive. And he did well. He really did. He did. That was pretty impressive.
I mean, I still get upset to think about Sarah and talk about Sarah.
No, me too. No, me too.
I don't know what it is. Like, you have a couple of kids, your hormones changes. I can't even watch a commercial on TV now without crying. But yeah, look, Sarah, for me, she was one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. You know, she was amazing. She used to go and get me coffee from Starbucks.
Yeah.
And just drop it off before I'd start work in the morning. I mean, when I did my shouldering on the tandem rating, she came and got me dressed for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, and just, I always felt like as one of the only female instructors at CrossKeys with experience.
Sure.
I felt like sometimes she was trying to run before she could walk. So I felt like I needed to kind of reel her in a bit and take her under my wing and just kind of slow down, Sarah. Not everything's a race. You don't have to be there before you just, you're young, take your time. But she was just wanting to do everything. At that point, that year, she wanted to learn how to swoop, learn how to free fly, learn how to, fly canopies together, do CRW, get a tandem rating.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah. Well, it was
nuts.
It was part of that whole CrossKeys vibe is just go, 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 go. I mean, we were. And
it breeds that. And I do feel like, for me, learning in DeLand, where everyone's really sensible. I mean, it's a very professional environment.
Sure.
So I grew up with it being professional. The parties were after work.
Right.
And CrossKeys, everything is just, you have to have everything done yesterday. And look, the flashing lights and the dollar signs, you do end up sacrificing the students' quality.
Sure.
And your quality of teaching, because you just want to make the money. I mean, I remember the first year I was there, I probably made about 500 jumps over the season, but I was doing 40-minute calls. I was doing 20-minute briefings, big debriefs with video, this. And I would watch other instructors do 3 jumps to my 1.
Oh, yeah.
And they were making, $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
And I was making 400. And there comes a time where I went, you know what? I just want to make the money. I want to take 4 months off and go snowboarding. I want to take 2 months off and go Dominican Republic kite surfing. And people that train at CrossKeys, they don't know any different because they've not been anywhere else. But I do feel like if you have got your ratings and started at a place like that, you need to go to a bigger pond to learn how to do it properly. And yeah, it's unfortunate because a lot of good instructors are bad instructors because of the environment that they.
Sure. Well, one of my regrets about the CrossKeys time was that we would go out and very quickly you started having these amazing fun jumps that were work jumps, and you realized, oh wait, the student is just a prop, and this is not their skydive. I mean, you can remember all these different jumps that we did where the tandem student was just a byproduct of the fact that we wanted to go out and have fun. And
like people in the ass too. So, CrossKeys reputation, it caught up, and, the internet caught up, and people started posting stuff, and next thing you know, geez. I mean, luckily for CrossKeys, the internet wasn't as popular
thank fuck
at the beginning because anyway, but
well, you remember this is probably the craziest tandem I
remain somewhat professional because I was already sponsored by PD and sponsored by UPT. I'd done a bunch of work with them, and I remember doing boogies there and getting Egon and Collar to come up there, and I still had a job to do. The students would still come to you for advice, and you still have to be somewhat.
Yeah, well, and it's not like we had any a lack of fun, but there seemed to be this back and forth. It was almost a CrossKeys curse for all the fun that we had. Something bad happened for every really good thing that we had, and one of the prime examples was you remember when the party happened after Heath Richardson's wedding. And people went tumbling down out of the tree, and Cameron.
Melody and...
Kusky, Melody, and Cameron fell out of the tree. He breaks his neck. He's in the hospital with a halo after major surgery. And what are we doing?
They thought he was going to be paralyzed.
Yeah, they thought he was probably going to be a quad. Meanwhile, we somehow talked his father into going for a tandem and did the most insane tandem out of the back of the Sky van. It was so CrossKeys.
I know, that was crazy, hey?
Yeah.
But I don't know, people just warmed to us. I remember, you know, love or hate Jacko, but he would really just make the effort with everybody that showed up there. And yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, and we had everybody coming. I mean, we had people that were professionals like Hector come out. Remember when David Blaine came out and Jacko and I took him on AFF. I mean,
yeah. And also the Manchester United goalkeeper's brother who has Tourette's, and Jacko said, you can take this one because I know you're a Manchester United fan. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. And there were those 2 top models from New York that came out, and then I ended up almost going on a date with one of them, but there was a crew came down from New Zealand, and we ended up in New York, and we didn't get home until 7 a.m. and I never made it. So yeah.
I mean, we can hash out the story time for fucking days over all the bizarre shit that happened at that place. I mean, the world's record, the day we did the tandems, and the party that Red Bull threw for us afterwards.
You know what? That record does not stand because
they didn't certify it.
My home drop zone in the UK, they claimed it after doing about 100 tandems. And I remember writing on their Facebook page, we did like 300 in a day. How have you guys got the record?
Yeah.
And it was never officiated. They had everything there. They had the paperwork. John Eddowes did not send the paperwork in. It's like, what?
I know.
And Peanut was like, yeah, it was all there. Rick Rowe, Peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Like,
yeah, we did 304 tandems in one day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yep.
That was nuts. I didn't do anything that day. I just got people geared up. And I remember Red Bull paid me quite substantially just to gear people up for the day.
Sure.
And jump.
Well, fuck, they brought in models to serve as cocktail waitresses for us. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike Swanson and Eli and all the Red Bull team at the time, they came in and they were just jumping all day long. Yeah, they bought, that was nuts, that party, hey?
Yep. Yes, it was. It was.
Nuts. What an awesome day. How hot was it though? Do you remember how humid it was?
Oh, it was brutal.
I remember we had to be at the drop zone at 5 a.m. and I walked out of my door and I was just dripping.
Yeah. Oh, it was brutal. I remember doing jump number. I went to do tandem number 28. And it was funny because it was the cattle call. You guys would just put the groups. And so the quick tandem instructors would run and grab all the cute girls. So load after load after load, any of us that were fast would grab a cute girl until the end of the day when it was just a bunch of pissed off chubby guys that had been getting passed all day long.
I remember Jacko did 29 tandems that day.
He did 29 or 30, yeah.
No, I think he did 29, because he was about to go for his 30th, or he did 30. I can't remember, but either way, he was going to do one more, and the only people that were left standing there was a crew of dudes.
Yep.
And he just went, "Now I'll have a beer."
Yep. That's pretty much what happened.
And that was, I think, his jump record that day. He had done the most jumps.
Yeah, I think he did 30 because I did 28. And I remember being 2 behind him. And on the 28th one, I grabbed this guy. And as we're getting on the airplane, I'm like, all right, so there's a pretty good chance I'm going to throw up on you. Because all I'd been doing is drinking Red Bull and eating Snickers bars.
Yeah. I know. Everyone was doing that. And no one was eating. And I remember delivering food to people out at the boarding area. And it was...
and Red Bull put out that massive, beautiful food afterwards, the huge party, and nobody could eat because we were all sick to our stomachs.
I know. I remember. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then the big party started, so nobody was going to eat after that. Where did the end for CrossKeys start for you? When did you transition out of that place and kind of walk away from the sport?
When Sarah died.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I still continued at CrossKeys.
Yeah.
But for me, when Sarah died, that was kind of it does happen to people you love, you know? So I think you've always going to have people in the sport that die. But for me, Sarah was like, she was the main one, the one that I was closest to, you know, and then after that, it was just more and more and more and more. But also my love for CrossKeys changed when we had some difficult years. I remember when the business changed and we ended up with just a shitty little aircraft.
Sure.
And it got really hard to make money. And, you know, it was, John was splitting up with his partnership and we had some dodgy aircraft and we had, it just wasn't, it was difficult. It became difficult. From when I first arrived there was a Sky van, a couple of Twin Otters. You know, if you wanted a few Cessnas as well, everyone was in the air and everyone was jumping and it was manic. I mean, the day was, you'd get up at 6:30 in the morning, you'd start at 7 and you didn't even blink until 7 p.m. and you've made 20 jumps.
Yeah.
And you've made a fortune. Yeah. You know, you do $1,000 weekends. You don't have to do much during the week if you don't want to, because the weekends are where it's at. But when we had the plane issues, everything just became a little bit more difficult and people were fighting for jumps. And I just remember there'd be 11 instructors signed in on a Monday or a Tuesday and not enough loads for everyone to make, $30?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I got stupid, but I still stuck with it. And then there was all those management changes and, you know, John would bring people in and they would come in and puff their chest out and go, ooh, 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 this is the way it's going to be a dick to a lot of people.
Right.
And everyone would be like, hang on, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know? Why are we being treated this way? We haven't done anything. And there was like all this politics and it just became this kind of strange place to be. And it wasn't that nice. And it was always at the beginning of the season. You never knew what you were going to get. You never knew. It was almost worth starting later in the season, get all the bullshit out of the way for the first month, because you never knew who was in charge, what was going on. I mean, when Raf showed up, poor Mark Norman, he was grounded. He was demoted to, he was only allowed to pack for like a month or something, I remember. You know, he tried to get me fired from doing AFF and Skydive University for who knows what reason. And it was an extremely strange time. Sure. You know? So very, very interesting. So I got a bit of a sour taste with that. And I know John was probably just trying to freshen things up and regain the CrossKeys name. But I think for a lot of us staff that had been there for a long time and it always run so well to then people coming in and trying to change stuff. And there was a lot of things that happened that were unfair. Sure. And
well, and also
it always recovered. It did always recover. Like mid-season, it would always recover, and things got back to normal. And John would be like, "Oh yeah, this is how it should be." You know.
Yeah. But it just that sour taste kind of never left. You had a rash of bad luck and a rash of incidents, and I mean, CrossKeys had more than its fair share of fatalities, and for the craziest reasons and.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Look, that's one of the things I didn't like was the year that Raf was there. Yeah. It's almost like he had been briefed on people at CrossKeys are crazy. It's such a crazy place to be. And he came in and was super strict with kind of sorting the instructors out, but then partying harder than anyone else in the evening. And one minute he was your best mate, next minute he was throwing you under the bus. And I don't know, it was just all a bit strange. And I'll never forget the day that, you know, he had his accident. And, you know, I had no personal grudge with the guy. I mean, we actually did have our thing, but we sorted it all out. That day, I remember I did 15 jumps. It was huge, season opener. And, the party got a little bit silly a little later. And I remember saying to Jacko, I feel a bit sick. I don't know why. I just had one beer and I felt a bit sick. And we grabbed my car. He dropped me home, went back to the drop zone, and he phoned me and he's like, you're never going to guess what happened. And I was just like, oh my God, thank God I wasn't there for it.
Yeah.
But I know, most people are traumatized from that night. And look, it's just, you could just feel that it was coming because of the build up was just, there was so much negative. The staff weren't happy. No one knew what the season was going to be like. The staff weren't happy because so many people were on a job threat.
Sure.
The partying had got to another level. I mean, with the guns and, when Frick's best friends with the guy that's in charge of you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy used to drink vodka out on the packing mat. He ran the packing mat. The guy was an alcoholic. He's drinking vodka and packing your parachutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. I mean, there's certain things that you just, for me, that didn't sit well, I would never do that. I mean, I was always professional in the fact that you party in the evening and,
Well, that's part of what makes the CrossKeys years so difficult to try and explain to people, and that why people don't believe when you tell them these stories, because they can't wrap their heads around this shit happening on the daily basis at CrossKeys. I mean, it was that crazy. It really was. No,
like with Will as well, because he probably felt quite bad about all of that. The thing, what used to annoy me about Will? I really like Will.
Sure.
He didn't get on with some people at the drop zone, but they tended to be the same personality as him. Sure. The thing with Will is he's so goddamn talented. That kid can do anything. I mean, sure. I've seen that he made this beautiful staircase when he was in France. He put these pictures up on his Facebook. Yeah. I mean, this guy's got no carpentry training. The kid would get in a plane and you say, go do this. I mean, he was a phenomenal free flyer, no tunnel time, nothing. He just could do it.
Yeah.
But he focused more on the stupid. So he was never taken seriously. I mean, you'll never forget when Egon came with UPT.
The cutaway.
I mean, look, I remember bringing them up for that. There was a boogie and I'd asked Egon to come, and because I was sponsored by UPT and I had just got sponsorship for Stanley and Jackson, and I had said, you guys have got it wrong. CrossKeys isn't the place where you sponsor the athletes. CrossKeys is a place where you sponsor the instructors, because those kids that are being taught by the instructors, they're the ones that are spending the money.
Yeah.
And if the instructors are wearing a UPT, they're going to buy a UPT.
Yeah.
So we got them sponsored. Egon came up and the Skyhook was this amazing thing. Let me tell you, they sold more Skyhooks that weekend than ever before. And I think I was stood there with you again.
You were standing right next to me because Egon was standing in between us, and Egon. Yeah, Cola was there as well, but Egon was standing in between us as Selwyn cuts away, and he's...
And I was going, nah, he won't do it now. Egon, he won't do it now. There's no way he's going to do it now. He's definitely not going to do it now. And this went on for a good 30 seconds, and then he did it.
Yeah, because he's like, don't do it. Shit, don't do it.
And I remember he landed, like, hard on both his feet, and he walked away. And just kind of held his head up like, yay. And everyone was kind of like, oh my God. Yep. And walked into the hangar and sat outside on the bench. And Lana, he was dating Lana at the time, and she was so pissed off. She goes, I can't believe you did that. Are you dumb? You did. I mean, she was schooling him. Hey?
Yeah.
She was shooting him. And he did hurt his back.
Sure.
He did hurt his back, but he had a beer and that was forgotten, and they sold so many goddamn Skyhooks.
Oh yeah,
and UPT rigs that weekend.
Well, I remember seeing them at the end of the weekend, seeing Cola and Egon together and going, because I knew it was their first trip there. I'm like, so what'd you think? And both of them hung over and dazed and glassy eyed. And they're like, this place is amazing.
Do you know what's really funny is they used to do those Skyhook demos and the reserve demos in drop zones all over the USA, right?
Yep.
And they'd maybe get one or two people want to do it because, you know, they wanted to just try it because they were serious buyers or whatever. CrossKeys, they had something like 24 people try the Skyhook just for the shits and giggles of cutting away.
Yeah.
And Egon was just like, it's unbelievable. Like, people just don't normally do this. So they used to love coming to CrossKeys, and it was this.
Well, it was because awesome. It was because of meeting them at CrossKeys and that introduction to Cola back then that she eventually approached me to write the first article I ever wrote for Blue Skies, because she's like, this fucking guy's seen it. Let's see what he's got to say.
Oh my gosh. Well, she chose the right person because, you know.
So when did you stop jumping? Like, when was the last time you've been under nylon?
2009. It was, I think, September or November. And I was at DeLand, and my last ever jump was an AFF evaluation jump. And it was a guy called Trevor, who is, I believe, still an instructor at DeLand, and he's now got a boxing gym because he used to be a pro boxer, British guy. I did, I probably jumped for a good 6 months more than what I should have done. I was doing more tunnel for sure the last year, but my shoulder was never right after I injured it doing tandems. It was basically a torn rotator cuff.
Sure.
And I never got it treated because, you know, who's got insurance in America, and who can afford that? You know, and I was doing loads of tunnel, and I remember I was doing heaps with the Qataris and, you know, Skydive View. And, I mean, I was flying like 2-3 hour chunks back to back, and just, it was hardcore. And I was just more and more sore, and I'd be flying with my arm around my back trying to, you know, and it was coming out. I was able to dislocate my shoulder. Anyway, so the time came, and I was like, you know what? I went kite surfing the one morning, and it was really windy, and the kite just pulled my shoulder, and it came out, and I was just like in agony. And I just went, that's it. That made my decision for me.
Sure.
And I always said, I never wanted to be a 40-year-old skydiving instructor.
Sure.
You know, that's for some people, but for me, I wanted a family, and I wanted, not a normal husband, but a semi-normal kind of, you know, I didn't want my life to revolve around the prop, you know?
Right.
You know,
and
you can't find a husband in skydiving. I mean, come on, they're all you just take your turn, right?
Right, that's it.
Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a girlfriend, you just take your turn. Yeah. So look, it's
do you miss it?
I don't think so. I mean, people ask me that all the time, and I think I was actually quite burnt out the last 2 or 3 years. I missed the tunnel. I 100% missed the tunnel. I used to rip that thing up. I loved it. I never got tired of the tunnel, ever. But the skydiving, like the last few years, it was almost kind of like being at DeLand. Even if the weather was crap, I was still making money in the tunnel. So it was just more reliable. And I'm definitely into kind of, I like to know where my next money's coming from.
Sure.
I like that security. So, you know, skydiving was always hit and miss. And then it was like, and, you know, so the last couple of years, you know, I probably made a handful of fun jumps. And
fair enough. I mean, come on, everything runs its course. Really,
I feel like I've been there, I've done that. I got the t-shirt, and I can put it in a little box and keep it closed.
Fair enough.
I had the opportunity a couple of years ago to jump skydive Byron Bay. Richard Wilkinson, who's still over there in the US, he let me stay at his apartment over there, and I went to the drop zone to pick up the keys to the apartment, and everyone there was like, yeah, come and make a jump, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, go on then. Oh, we're just on a weather hold. And I remember standing there on this drop zone going, damn, it's really windy. I was like, I'll be jumping gear that I've got no idea about. Who knows what size the canopy is? I don't even know what that is. It was a wings container.
Right.
I was like,
yeah, I mean,
everything's sat around for a couple of hours, and I just went, you know what? I can't be arsed. I want to go to the beach, take a little lad surfing, and go do this. And I was just like, I just can't be bothered waiting around. That's just not me anymore.
Sure,
you know?
Sure.
If it had been, go in now, grab a rig, get on the load, and it was happened, I probably would have jumped.
Sure.
But I had too much time to think about it and go, oh, yeah, nah. So I don't miss it. I don't.
I mean, everything's got its time for sure. Now, I always ask people towards the end of the podcast, and this is great to ask you as well, advice that you would have for people that are just getting started in the sport, because you kind of went the whole gambit and your career in skydiving is over. You've already said that you're probably never going to jump again. So what advice do you give to somebody that's just getting into skydiving and they're...
Have a backup plan.
Have a backup plan?
Have a backup plan. Look, it's a hard industry, you know. When I started, everything was attainable. When I started skydiving, you could still get a 4-way team together and you could go and win a gold medal or even a silver or a bronze at a little scramble meet. Now you need 200 million hours of tunnel time. You need to have a bank balance the size of freaking a small island just to be able to get a medal, and you've got to be committed. So, it's a very expensive sport, and the tunnels have probably taken a lot of that, and they got a lot to blame for that. So it's taken a little bit of the fun away, I guess. The normal people that,
Sure.
But yeah, have a backup plan, because once I was done with skydiving, I realized that I didn't really have much going for me. Hey, and it was a really hard transition to go from making $250 an hour in the tunnel to going back to the UK and maybe getting £8 an hour, $15 an hour. Like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So yeah, just have a backup plan and just, be sensible. But hey, skydivers aren't sensible, so no one's going to listen to that advice anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, but I mean,
safe. I always think that I probably was over safe.
It's not a bad thing.
I think that kept me alive, and probably a lot of other people as well.
There's a damn good reason why we're still here.
Yeah, I was really if it looked sketchy, the winds were a bit over. There's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was never interested in, jumping in extreme weather conditions. And look, we didn't think that's how Stanley was going to go, did we?
No. No, God, no.
And that's how he went, and that's
no.
So look, yeah. Push the envelope, but do it sensibly, if that's even a thing,
Oh, so you're always going to be Worthington to me. So Worthington, fucking hell. We could literally do this for 10 hours talking over the shit that used to go down in CrossKeys and some of that silliness. But I'm glad that I finally, after all this time, nailed you down, at least for a little talk and a stroll down memory.
Yeah, should do it next time with a cocktail. And
fair enough.
Maybe in person in Bali.
There you go. All right. Next time around in Bali, we'll do it.
Next time around, we'll do it in Bali.
Well, Miss Kim Worthington Turnbull, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. It's been fantastic catching up.
No worries. It was awesome.
Love you.
Enjoy. You too.
All right, well, there you go. Another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void in the can, as always brought to you by Blue Skies Magazine. Head to blueskiesmag.com and check it out. By pussfoot.com, the Extreme Sports Collective, pussfoot.com. Summit Parachute Systems. Jarrett Martin over there, summitparachutesystems.com for rigging courses and badass pilot rigs. And as for me, I am the fucking pilot at thefuckingpilot.net or theprincesspilot.com. That's where you get the podcasts, both the books in digital and print, and with the help of a co-host, hopefully that audiobook. Thanks.